What's going on, everyone? Sorry for the delay in the show, but we are here for a very special episode of the Volleyball Source podcast, the 9 by 9. I'm not entirely sure, but my name is Everett DeLorme, and I'm here to preview the 2022 FIVB Men's Volleyball World Championships. And today we're going to be specifically looking at the one, the only, the Maple Volleys, Team Canada Volleyball. Now, for all of those wondering, where's Rob? Rob is in the chat. Rob, please entertain everyone. I'll do the same. I'll try to do the same tomorrow during your show when he previews Team USA. So if you're a fan of Team Canada, stay today. If you're a fan of Team USA, stay tomorrow, and you stay today too, and you get to watch the Team USA preview tomorrow. But let's jump into it. We're going to talk about a few things. Obviously, we're going to go over the schedule for Team Canada, who they're going to be playing alongside in Pool E. If you checked out our preview last night, then you already know. Of course, we're going to be going over the 14-man roster. They're not available yet, but I did some sleuthing. I was able to find out who will be representing Team Canada, who was there on the 16, and now who is going to be representing Team Canada. And then we're going to talk about a few other news and notes as we head in. But first and foremost, let's go over to Team Canada's schedule. As I mentioned, they are going to be in Pool E alongside Italy, China, and Turkey. Of course, they got to take on the defending European champs in the first round, in the first match there. It's going to be at 5:15 Eastern time, so a nice little afternoon match on Saturday afternoon if you want to check that one out. Of course, it's going to be live on Volleyball World, and I would hazard to guess it's going to be live on cbcsports.ca as well for all you Canadian fans who want to watch for free. Gets a little bit tougher to watch from there. Next up on Monday morning, bright and early, they're going to be taking on China. And then finally on Wednesday morning, a little bit earlier, you can watch it with your breakfast. They're going to be taking on Turkey at 8 a.m. as well. So that's going to be the Pool E breakdown for Team Canada. Pretty straightforward. I mean, we're going to talk about it a little bit afterwards, but I do think that this is a really, really good pool for Team Canada. Both China and Turkey are struggling with some roster things, some injuries heading forward, and it puts them in a really good position to get second place. Now, for those who aren't aware for this tournament, the pool and tournament are going to be happening a little bit differently than most World Championships. It's going to be just 6 pools of 4. Top 2 teams from each pool move on, along with the 4 next best third place teams. We're just going to do straight up re-rank everyone in the round of 16, and then 1 in 16 will face off, 2 to 15, so on and so forth, all the way to the finals. It's a traditional single elimination bracket. No more repooling. Gotta love it. It's going to be awesome, and I really think that this pool is going to be good for Team Canada specifically because I believe that they get a chance to get two wins here. But everyone wants to know what the roster is going to look like. So let's jump over to the 14-man roster. This is going to be the first time people are seeing it. And there we have it. These are the 14 names that will be representing Team Canada in the 2020. Oops, sorry. Sorry, my OBS was freaking out there. These are the 14 names that will be representing Team Canada in this one. Now, first and foremost, you're going to see a couple of names on this list that we didn't see at the VNL, and one name in particular that won't be there, and we're going to address that right off the bat. No Jay Blankenau for this tournament. I won't lie, that's a big surprise to me based off, speaking to him back when I was in Gatineau for Pan Am Cup, speaking to Coach Ben Josephson back at Pan Am Cup. I really thought that he was going to be the starter for this tournament. I mean, he did a great job stepping in at the last moment. TJ Sander got hurt back in 2018 at the Wagner Memorial in Poland. Jay stepped in, set us to a second straight top 10 finish to a 9th back in 2018, and has generally been the starter for Team Canada since then. That being said, and before that, like Jay is a legend. Jay has been around Canadian volleyball for so long. won a national championship with Calgary back in 2010, was one of the original parts of the building of this team. So not having him on the roster is absolutely massive. Now, I don't know if he was cut from the team completely or if it was some injury stuff. I know he had, some knee injuries that he had to take a match off in Ottawa and that were nagging him, throughout the rest of VNL. But it seemed like he was doing pretty well when I spoke to him. So not having Jay Blankenau is a huge. Honestly, I'm going to say it's a bit of a risk. He's hands down our most experienced setter. He's been there the longest, and I know that however this decision was made, it wasn't made lightly. But that being said, I guess Team Canada will be moving forward with Derek Epp and Brett Walsh. We are going to have to double check kind of with Coach Ben Josephson if it's an injury situation with Blankenau or if it's a no longer fit for the team with him, to see if he's going to be eligible further on. But if it is a cut situation where he is no longer fit for the team, then I think that might be the end of Jay Blankenau's Maple Volley career. And if that's the case, then I'm sad to see it end this early. He was always one of my favorite players to watch, especially when he was at Calgary. And I think he will be missed. All right, now moving forward, I see some comments already in the chat. Chris Meaton, if you're the Chris Meaton, I think you are. You're a legend. Vernon Evans, no Vernon Evans at all on this roster. Vernon Evans has not contacted the men's national team in any way, shape, or form. He was at one of the Ottawa VNL matches, but at that point indicated that he had no interest in playing for the indoor national team at this time, and also did not communicate whatsoever with the indoor national team. So at this point, Shawan Vernon Evans' career with the men's national team with the Maple Volleys is done until further notice. Unfortunate, but ultimately it sounds like it was his decision, and we'll see what comes next from Shawan. I, for one, always believed in him. I thought and still think that he could be one of the best in the world, and I think he just needs some time for himself. And I hope it. Truly, I just want him to be happy with his decision. But yeah, moving on from who's not on this roster, let's talk about who is on this roster. First and foremost, you're going to see a asterisk beside Stephen Maher's name. And that's in big part due to the injury that he suffered in training a few weeks ago. Suffered a bit of a knee injury with a collision with one of the players in practice, and there was a time when I was speaking to him where he wasn't even sure if he was going to attend the World Championships. He wasn't even sure if he was going to be able to play this season. But it does look like, after I've speaking to a few doctors, it does look like it's a lot more minor than we thought. There's no surgery required. The chance of a re-injury is low. So it looks like Stephen Maher will be available for Team Canada in this one. In the preview matches, he did suit up as libero, letting Nick Hogue and Eric Lepke and the other guys step in. But that is, if no healthy Stephen Maher is a massive blow to Team Canada. Looking at how he led this team through VNL, he led Team Canada in every statistical category: attacking, passing, serving, and obviously not blocking, but digging as well. He was Team Canada's by far best player. Without Stephen Maher, there would be no Team Canada in VNL, right? We would have been relegated. So that's a huge loss if he's not there. But on the other hand, you are seeing, I have been hearing some good things about both Eric Lepke and Nick Hogue coming out of training when I was in Gatineau. I mean, let's remember that Lepke joined this team in the middle of VNL with no training, coming off of having his first son, and just really jumping into the thick of things, and he looked a little bit lost out there. So I'm excited to see what Lepke can do as one of the guys with as like one of the guys for Team Canada. We haven't really seen that. He got sniffs here and there at the VNL in the past, but nothing quite like this. And I'm excited to see what Eric Lepke can do now that he's a little bit more comfortable with the system, a little bit more comfortable with the guys around him, a little bit more comfortable playing with the national team again, as opposed to playing in Italy, and to see what he can do of that. And then also you've got Nick Hogue, who was a little bit injured, did a little bit of uh, did have a bit of stint with COVID during VNL as well, but it sounds like he's coming back good and healthy. And then of course you got Riley Barnes coming along nicely as well. I mean, this is a guy who a year ago was completely retired from volleyball, and now he's back playing pro and playing at the World Championships. So I think he's going to be okay with that one. Now, the next name on this list may be a little bit controversial. Why was Matthias Elser picked over a guy like Brandon Coppers, who was on the 16-man, was at the pre-tournament games? And ultimately, I don't think many people know how little left side Matthias Elser has played in his volleyball career, and it's extremely little. And now I can't remember which event it was. It was either with the U23s in Mexico, or it was with, the U21s in Mexico last year, or with the Trinity Western when they were representing Canada at the U23s. But a bunch of the guys were sick with COVID, and basically they just threw in Elser to play on the left side, and he did pretty good. So this summer when he played VNL was the first time that he was truly playing left side as a left side and getting left side reps and passing and all of that. And to be able to do that coming out of university, doing it straight at the VNL level is absolutely ridiculous. Now, you guys most of you, I'm assuming the majority of you, didn't get the benefit of seeing him play for Team Canada in Gatineau. If you watched on the stream, it wasn't the same. I got to see him in person. There's only one of the videos out. There's a bunch more coming, I promise. But man, I really think that Matthias Elser is a left side, and he's going to be a good left side. And you guys will see as these videos come out that he hasn't even been playing it for a year, and he's hitting these kind of balls. Like, I think he has some serious potential. And at the end of the day, I do think Brandon Coppers is a better overall player than him. But Coppers is at his ceiling. As much as I hate to admit that, Coppers is a player that, I used to game plan against when he was playing for the Pac-Man Volleyball Club. Like, I've watched him since he was in middle. I've watched his game for a long, long time, and I think he's like 26, 27, maybe like youngest he is 26, and he just may be at his peak, right? He may have reached his ceiling, and that's not saying he's not a fantastic volleyball player, but do we need another decent volleyball player on the bench as opposed to someone who could be really good and we're training for the future, right? I don't think Coppers is in the plans for 2024. As much as that's going to hurt some people to say, I don't think Coppers is in the plans for 2024. But I do think Matthias Elser is in the plans for 2028, right? Matthias Elser, I think, brings in a little bit more in terms of coming in off the bench as a serving sub. He hits the ball so true, and I think he's got a little bit more to offer in that area. And I think that's what he's going to be ultimately for this tournament, right? Because if we're getting to a spot where the fifth left side is needing to play like minutes on our team, like the tournament's over already, right? So whether it's Coppers or Elser out there, I don't think it really matters. In the future, is he better left side or setter? I think he's a better left side. Asked me a month ago, I would have said setter 100%. I would have asked you what we were doing with him on the left side, but when I saw him in Gatineau, Matthias Elser is a left side, and he's going to be a damn good one at that. Now moving on to the middles, I'm seeing some comments in the middles that he is that they're weak. I would disagree with that. The fact that they're adding in Arthur Schwartz coming off of injury is absolutely massive. Once again, everything I'm hearing from training is that he's still, working it back in, so we're not going to see him at all on the opposite at all, but he's still Arthur. He's still one of the most physical freaks out there, and I'm interested to see how he returns from this. So adding Arthur in the middle is a huge lock. And then, of course, you got Lucas Van Berkel. Oop, a little bit of a spelling mistake there. Sorry, Lucas. Jackson Howe and Pierce Shenko. I think that's a solid core. I think you have Arthur Schwartz as the anchor, and then you have all three that can kind of move around him. And all three give different looks. I think Jackson did really, really well for a rookie at the VNL. Going from the university level to read blocking at the VNL level is tough. And he did it very well on a consistent basis. So I'm excited to see how he's progressed through the summer here at the World Championships. We know offensively that the dynamic duo of Arthur Schwartz and Jackson Howe offensively is absolutely tantalizing. Any three pass should be going to those guys, and they should be absolutely feasting, right? Canada should, if those two are on the court and we're passing well, we should be having like a 70 plus attack efficiency, because those two are absolutely bonkers. But on the other side, you do have two fantastic blockers with Van Berkel and a Shenko there as well. So I think Canada's going to be solid down the middle. There was one guy who was left out here off the 16-man roster, and that's going to be Xander Ketrizinski. Now, here's a guy who's brand new playing middle, and he's going to be a guy of the future. I promise. He's going to be an absolute beast, but he's just not there with these other guys. For those, Xander Ketrizinski stands in the Discord, who I always wonder where he is. He's gonna be there. He's gonna make it. Okay, VNL 2023. He's gonna be on the roster, and he's gonna be making it difficult for even Schwartz. I'd say, like, offensively, I think he's that guy. He's just not there yet. All right, heading over to the opposite position. It's going to be pretty status quo from VNL. Sclater and Hofer. Sclater, I'm expecting a little bit more from him than we saw at VNL. I'm really expecting him to not carry the team. I don't think he's that type of player, but be an efficient and consistent scorer for Canada on the right side. Put some pressure from the baseline, which he did do pretty well in VNL, but just overall, be there. Especially with the way this offense needs to run, he needs to be rolling, and I want to see that Sclater arm going. Hofer, probably going to be used sparingly, maybe coming off the bench in a double sub situation, maybe some serving subs. Did really enjoy what I saw from him at Pan Am Cup, but once again, don't think he's going to be ready to lead Team Canada yet at the World Championship level. And then finally, of course, you've got the ice cream man himself, Mr. Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen Marshall is a huge addition to this roster. If there was one area that Canada really struggled in at the VNL, it was hands down serve receive. Easily serve receive. Nothing against Justin Louis. He's just not ready at that level yet. I think he can get there. Once again, I think he's has the ability to read the game phenomenally, and he's going to get there. He just needs to get a little bit more physical and to be ready to be at that level. And the same thing with Jordan Pereira. I don't think either of those guys are ready to really jump in at the libero position. And right now, Canada needs a solid libero, and Stephen Marshall is the guy. You know he's going to go out there, stabilize serve receive. He's going to make a few digs. Honestly, I think, especially later on, Stephen Marshall is good enough for a win. Right, like Stephen Marshall is good to turn one or two of those games in VNL that went one way for Canada and go the other way. I think that's going to be a huge addition. Up there with Schwartz, both of those guys are going to be massive, absolutely massive for Team Canada, especially if Maher isn't playing, but we're gonna cross our fingers, because I think he will be. I do want to talk about the setters for a second, because as you see, I have Derek Epp as basically the starter, and he did start both the matches in Bulgaria, and I know he didn't start that many in VNL, but I just think that, I love Brett Walsh. I loved watching him at Alberta. I've loved watching his career, but I've always kind of expected him and hoped for him to take the reins and be the starting setter for this national team. And in my eyes, he's never truly done that, whether it was under Glenn Hoag's tenure or whether it was under now with Ben Josephson. I was very, very impressed when I saw Derek Epp step in for the national team at the World Cup back in 2019. And I mean, he was called in. Like, Walsh got injured first game, and they flew him over from Trinity on a plane, got off a plane in Japan, and started playing volleyball. And I was very, very impressed by that overall. So I think that Epp might be the guy. Like, why not, right? maybe it's a bit of a gamble. Brett Walsh has played professionally. Professionally, he has played for the national team before, but I think it's going to be a battle between these two guys. But ultimately, I don't see why, especially in game one against Italy. That's not a game we need to win, right? Like I'm confident. I'm confident that Brett Walsh can lead Canada to wins over China and Turkey, especially the way they are right now. But I'm not sure if he's the guy for the future anymore. He hasn't shown me that he is. Whereas, like at maybe, at maybe, we'll have to see about it. But let's give him a chance, especially against Italy. Let's just see, and then we'll go from there. Seeing some comments in the chat about TJ. I don't think there's a chance that he's ever going to be coming back. He was struggling as it was to help Canada qualify for 2020, help Canada in 2021, and I think that his playing days are over, which are is the true crime in all of this. Looking the way he managed this team in 2017 at the World League, and then all of that potential. I was so excited for World Championships 2018, but it just kind of crumbled down over there. So I do often think about what this team would look like, what this program would look like if TJ had been around the past few years. Seeing about some comments about Byron Ketrizinski as well. Ketrizinski hasn't been around the national team since that 2019 World Cup. Once again, love Byron, love watching him in the Bundesliga. I don't think he's national team material. I don't think he's international material. Byron is a fantastic all-around volleyball player, but he's not the best setter. And at the international level, you need to be the best setter. It's much more than being charismatic and being a good leader and fighting good. So, I don't think Byron Ketrizinski will ever wear Team Canada's jersey again. Looking in the looking in the comments. All right, so just going back to the pool here real quick. I did talk about it a little bit earlier. I do think Canada has a really good shot because I think Canada has a shot to go 2-1 here. I think both China and Turkey are winnable games. China without Zhang Xuan, not as good. I know they have Zhang Yipin, but I don't think he's going to be enough. China's not a great serving team, which means Canada could feast in the middle, and that's where we thrive. And then on the other side of things with Turkey, they're just, with no Mandaracha, no Efe Bayram, like, they're missing some of their guys. And, like, Subasi's good, but he's old. Like, it was the other left side. Guntor, like, I don't know. Legumjia needs to have a really, really good game, and that's why I think Canada's in a really, really good spot, because they have the ability to get 2 wins, which is going to be massive, especially once in the repooling everyone 1 through 16. It's not 1 through 16. If both Slovenia and Italy, or Slovenia and Poland qualify, which they will, they'll be ranked 1 through 2, and then everyone else is going to qualify or be ranked underneath them. I do think this is a good opportunity for Canada to go 2-1 here and to do it with full points, right? I think the biggest thing is that if they can stay away from going to 5 sets with either China or Turkey, get those matches clean, maybe even go to 5 with Italy, that will set them up for a good first round matchup at the round of 16. And ultimately, I think winning one round of 16 matches is all we can ask. Once we get down to the quarterfinals, getting into the semifinals is going to be extremely difficult. And it's going to take an absolute banger of a match and a good draw for us to be able to do that. So I think right now, I think right now the goal for this team is to finish in the top 10, right? Win that, qualify for playoffs, win that round of 16 match, and then qualify for the top 10. Get a third top 10 row in a row for the World Championships, and that's continuing a best ever result for Team Canada. All right, we're just going to look at some of the comments here. First and foremost, let's talk about Luke Herr. Luke Herr is an absolute baller. I really, really, really need to put out my interview with him after the Pan Am Cup, but I don't know what the dude's been doing for 5 years, just been eating straight spinach and like setting bricks in his basement. But like, I know that the message from Coach Benjo to Luke was, Luke, we're keeping you off the World Championship roster because it's already difficult enough as it is. I know that there's some people in the Team Canada program right now, coaches and athletes alike. Literally had an athlete tell me no more than half an hour ago that he thinks Luke should be the starting or second setter on this roster. And I've had coaches tell me as well. I don't know what he's been doing, but he's gotten so good. He's a complete volleyball player. He serves well. He blocks well. He sets the softest balls. He's just setting balls on pillows, and he understands how to set every single player individually. And I think at this level, that's something that's completely, like, that's so underrated and completely priceless if you're able to understand how each of your hitters need to hit. I think he has a spot on this roster moving forward. I really do. I think he's going to be, if Blankenau is truly done, I think it's going to be between Eppen, Brett, and Luke, and I think he's going to make it difficult for him. I really do. But he's not on this roster, so that's all I'm going to say for now. And yeah, okay, let's finally close it out with a little bit of message to all the Benjo haters. And I get it. I really get it. We did bring a lot of TW guys to VNL. We did bring a lot of TW guys to this World Championships. But who's dominated Canadian volleyball over the past decade? And yes, Alberta has had their blips, and they've done some fantastic things. Very impressed with their win this past year. Yes, McMasters has been there, but man, Trinity Western has done some things that we've never really seen before, and created some players on the level that we've never really seen before. So let's give Ben Josephson the benefit of the doubt here, right? Let's give the best coach in Canada the benefit of the doubt, right? We gave so much benefit of the doubt to Glenn Hogue, and he did such amazing things for our program, but we trusted him to do so. And I truly think we need to give that opportunity to Ben Josephson, right? As great as Glenn Hogue was, he wasn't perfect. As fantastic of a builder of this program, and he will forever go down as one of the, if not the greatest builders of Team Canada volleyball in the history of Team Canada volleyball. There's some things that were left out and some gaps in the system that need to be addressed. And I think Ben Josephson has that ability to completely understand and respect what Glenn did before him, and to build on top of that, and to continue in that growth of Canadian volleyball, and building the style that is Canadian volleyball. And I think this is an opportunity to do that. So I really, really want to see him given a fair shot, right? At least through to Paris, right? If we qualify for Paris, then let's run with it. If we don't, let's take a look at things and see how it goes. But ultimately, there's no one more I trust than Ben Josephson. Truthfully, I think I've been around this game in Canada more than anyone else over the past decade. And of all the people I've talked to, not only can say I trust Ben Josephson the most, I think everyone else within Canadian volleyball trusts him just as much as I do. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. We can't recreate another Gord Perrin, who's arguably one of the best players we've ever had. We can't recreate another Graham Vigrass, who could be the best middle blocker we've ever had. We can't recreate another Gavin Schmidt or Shawan Vernon Evans, who are athletic freaks of natures. All we can do is work with what we've got now. And I think that what we've got right now for this World Championships is good enough to get us into the good quarterfinals, is good enough to get us into the top 10, and is good enough to build on to make a push towards Paris 2024. All right. With that being said, I think that is where we're going to end this one. That was, let's see, how long did this go for? I can't even see. But about half an hour. So yeah, that's good. All right. Well, guys, to wrap it up, a few things you're going to need to do if you haven't already done that. First, please like this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to Volleyball Source. There's going to be so much more content coming throughout the rest of the rest of the World Championships. Rob's going to be doing the Team USA preview tomorrow at some point, and then of course we're going to be jumping right into it with podcasts and shows the entire way through. Make sure to check us out on the Discord. Obviously go to the link down below to come join the Discord. And yeah, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. See some legends. Chris Meaton, big shout out to him, one of my former coaches about the Ottawa Kangaroos Volleyball Club. My boy Phil James, who still to this day thinks that he's better than Lucas Van Berkel when Van Berkel beat him out for the last middle spot in the 2010 junior team. And yeah, all right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure to check out Rob's Team USA preview tomorrow, and make sure to check out our World Championships preview show from last night if you didn't. All right, peace.